Hey everybody, welcome back to another Flea Market Finds episode, and this is another pick from the Brimfield Flea Market this past summer. And start right out with this interesting little piece. This is something I got from a dealer that I had bought, I think last year. I had bought a bunch of machinist tools from him, and I went back to see him this year to see if he had anything, and he had some old tools, but nothing really of that much interest to me. But then I did stumble upon this, and I almost missed it because I didn't realize that it was a machinist related item. And what it says here is PTC steel hardness tester, model 316 or 31G, I'm not sure. And what's in this box? First, when I looked at it, I thought maybe some of this stuff didn't belong in here, like this thing, for instance, which is a calculation wheel, but then you can clearly see it says PTC right on it. It's a steel hardness conversions calculator, and this is made by the Pacific Transducer Corporation. So this is kind of an interesting doohickey here. Not quite sure how it works. Gonna have to do a little research on it. There's some paperwork here. Hopefully there's instructions, but that's how I knew that even like this, what I thought was just an ordinary automatic center punch, is specifically an automatic center punch for this kit. That's why they put this red on here, I guess, so you don't mix it up with your other tools by accident. And also, if I'm not mistaken, I think that the company name is also on this, even though it looks like a Starrett. Yeah, so this center punch is clearly marked Pacific Transducer Company or Corporation of Los Angeles, California, part number 316.2. So that actually belongs right here. And then we've got a test block. So this block has a specific hardness to it, and it's got a few little pock marks in it indicating that it looks like somebody has test fired this on it. And then we've got this unusual, almost like a handheld microscope deal. And then there's this attachment by the looks of it. I think this is an attachment. So this is a light. So it looks like we might have corrosion in here. A little bit of corrosion, not too bad. I wonder what the odds are on this battery actually still being any good. Yeah, I don't even know how to turn this on. So when I look down into this scope, there's actually some reticle lines there, and it actually says Model 316C Steel Hardness Tester, equivalent Rockwell C scale, and then it goes from 20 to 60. So apparently they made these in different scales. This one does say C scale right on the top there. So if you want to test something with Rockwell hardness that falls within that scale, then you could use this, I guess. And then I guess if you're outside that perimeter, you can't use this particular one. So don't really know much about the value on this yet. I'll probably at some point see if I can get that light working and read the instructions and play around with it. Oh, so I ended up paying $25 for this. I was intrigued enough to take a chance on it for $25, even though, for all I know, it may be outdated, useless technology. Another dealer had 3 or 4 machinist toolboxes. Nothing remarkable about the boxes. Some of them were even wooden ones that looked kind of homemade, and you know, the typical steel ones. But he was willing to let me pick through all the boxes and put together piles and buy that way. So I just kept doing that. I must have spent at least an hour there or more total. I actually had bought some stuff, came back later, bought some more stuff, and so he just kept putting the stuff into these bags for me. I don't even remember what's in half of these bags now. So you and I will look at them together. A trip down memory lane for me here. All right, some nice big. So get a load of this. I was in the middle of getting ready to show you guys what was in this bag, and then I ended up having to go do another job and ended up using the camera and shooting some video. And by the time I came back here, I had forgotten what I had showed you. So I ended up having some other calipers here on the bench, so I honestly don't remember whether or not, I know some of this stuff is what was in the bag, and some of it may be stuff that I showed in the previous video, so I apologize if any of this is redundant. But these calipers, this is the most interesting set of all of them. These are badged American Beauty, and the only tools I can find with the name American Beauty on them are soldering irons. There's a company in Troy, Michigan that makes soldering irons. So I don't know if they ever made these types of tools or what, but I can't find another pair anywhere on eBay or anywhere online. So it might be rare, and they're in mint condition. I paid 19 bucks for these, so I'm probably going to end up keeping them. And then I got several others here. Some of these are badged Sergeant. I think one of these is Sergeant. A couple of these are badged PS and W, which is Peck, Stowe, and Wilcox. These large Starrett calipers are early enough that they don't have a part number on them, but they do have a patent date on them. These have a patent date of 1885 on them. And then these have a patent date of 1895, and I actually had to double check because they both have the same month, May. So oddly enough, for whatever reason, Starrett was sending patents in around the same time or whatever. These are, I think, completely unmarked. Oh no, they aren't. These are marked Prince something steel. These are Pextos, which I think I did show these previously. This is a little 1/4-inch breaker bar Craftsman with a Craftsman socket on it. This is definitely a Starrett centerhead in like really nice shape. And these are marked Bemis and Call, another name I've never heard of. And this is a Greenfield tap and die number 4, which oddly enough I didn't notice when I bought this. I put it in the pile with the other stuff. This actually has a crack right through the jaw. But I already tested it, and the interesting thing is, because of the design and the way it's captive in the frame here, it absolutely works perfectly fine. It has no bearing on whether or not it is going to hold okay. All right, let's see what's in the next bag. Here's a nice Starrett 161D parallel clamp. Here's a Starrett 161C. Here's a Brown & Sharp 704B. Here's a little Starrett 0-to-1 mic, which normally I wouldn't bother with, except that this is looks like a thread point micrometer. It's a 210A. This is a nice little scale. It's a Brown & Sharp, so I might find a head that I can put on that. And this is not cut down. This is a 9-inch Brown & Sharp scale. The way you could tell, sometimes people cut these and do such a good job, you can't tell by looking at the end, but you can tell because the inches on the other side won't match up. The other giveaway too is typically that'll be off center and the numbers won't match correctly. This won't be an 8 across a 1 on both ends. That was way too much of an explanation, wasn't it? All right, drill chuck jaws. Interestingly enough, we've got some replacement jaws and the split ring for, just says drill chuck jaws, and I don't believe it specifies a brand, so I don't know if we're ever going to have an answer on that one. It looks like a Jacobs design. Why are there 4 jaws? Well, I'll tell you why, because that one does it. That's an oddball. That looks like a Starrett Toolmakers dividers. Oh no, these are Brown & Sharp 800s dividers. This is a nice Starrett 278 V block, and there was a clamp with it, so that's nice. Unfortunately, I do not believe that I found the second one in all that stuff. Again, wouldn't bought it except for the fact that I was getting such a good deal on this stuff that I threw this in the pile. This is a Brown and Sharp surface gauge. It is hardened. It's got a little bit of, that's actually not rust, that's like sawdust or something on there, but it does have some light surface rust on it. It's got the original scriber on it. The pins are stuck. I don't know how badly. Not going to worry about it. Starrett S167D radius gauge set. So this would be this set here. It's got the handle in it, which is nice, and it looks like it is not missing anything. So that's not bad. This is a center head, by the looks of it, maybe off of a Lufkin or a Mitutoyo. I don't remember exactly the color on that one. It's a small one though. Here's a Starrett taper gauge 269A, and it's actually what's in there, which is nice. Oh, actually, it's a 269B. Yeah, it's a 269B taper gauge. So, oh, and actually, I think, yeah, there's more than one in here. Yep. Yeah, so this is the 269B, and nice little find in the box with it was the 269A, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is the 269A. Somebody had 25 bucks on just this one alone at some point. And then this, again, you know, I grabbed it just because I was getting the stuff so cheap, even though I really didn't know what this was. And I'm still not exactly sure. So this appears to be a spring-loaded clamp of some type. So the weird thing about this is that somebody silk screened on here. It's actually very straight too. It almost looks like maybe it was factory printed on here. Something Brown and Sharp something. I can clearly make out Brown and Sharp. I just can't make out these other words. They're, what the heck that says. All right, that says Genuine Brown and Sharp something. Does anybody know what the heck this is? Well, I was able to make out the last word. It's quality. So this is marked Genuine Brown and Sharp quality. Other than that, I do not know what it is. I think it's supposed to be some sort of a clamping device. I think maybe this top piece is supposed to move freely against these springs on this rod, but I can't get it to move, and I'm not going to force it. Alright, coming down to the end, near the end of this episode. This is a early, I think it's an Armstrong clamp. Oh, I take that back. It's marked J.H. Williams on one side, and on the other side it's marked Vulcan Heavy Service, amongst other things that I can't quite make out. But these clamps are incredibly beefy. So I probably only paid a couple bucks for it because of the condition it's in. And I'm sure with a little bit of penetrant, maybe some heat, I could probably free up that screw. This is another one of these Starrett drive pin punch type wooden things here. I'll have to go through and check and see how decent these are and fill in the missing ones with some from my extra pin punch collection. Here's another miniature anvil. This one is apparently cast iron or cast steel, but clearly it's cast. Let's see what's in this Starrett case. Oh, nice little inside micrometer set. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's a rod in there which would make 6, so it's probably a 0 to 6 inch set, or what is it, 2 to 8, I think is what these are. And then I think what's missing here is there probably was a handle that would screw on. You take out one of these and you screw a handle on for reaching down deep into a bore. What the heck is that? A little piece of brass folded up. All right, nice complete set though, other than the handle. I don't know, Oh, Q-tips. That's weird. I've never seen a Q-tips package like that. Ah, this is a little bit. This is interesting. This was marked $79. I guarantee I didn't pay that much. It's an Albrecht chuck on a sensitive drilling attachment, and the only issue it has is there's a little clip that goes in here that has fallen out or gone missing, and all that clip does is that stops this from being able to come out all the way. So that's the only issue it has, but these darn things are so expensive that it would be well worth it for somebody to make some sort of a clip to go in there to make this work again. The problem is without the clip, obviously this is just going to want to spin. It won't be driven. I don't remember exactly what I paid for this, but I think I had seen this somewhere else. I think I ran into this dealer somewhere else, and that they had been towing this thing around for a while, so I was able to convince them, hey, you know, why don't you move on that price since it's got an issue. And we got an old Last Word case with a genuine Starrett Last Word in it, and I believe that, like many of these Last Words, it works perfectly fine. These Last Words tend to be very dependable. I'll give it. I've never really been that much of a fan for them, but a lot of people are, and I could see why. They seem to really last. And this is a parallel, no names on it. This is an offset screwdriver, Craftsman branded offset screwdriver with multiple different heads on it. And we get a little scale here to Starrett. Scale 6-inch. And then I got this. I ended up cutting a deal with a guy who had a bunch of drill bits. And what he had was, he had a bunch of these envelopes of new old stock precision twist drill and other U.S. manufactured drill bits. So these are high-speed steel drill bits, but they're brand new. These are 31/64. There's 6 of them in here, and they're brand new old stock. And I ended up getting him to give me a really good deal. I don't remember exactly how much, because I basically offered to buy the whole lot. So, see, these are Nationals, some smaller ones. And then he had some just like loose ones like this. Okay, but these, again, these might be new old stock. I'm not sure. So he was like, he just threw